Hi guys, sorry. I am adjusting this because I didn't like how it looked last time. I'm trying to make it more presentable. Amanda's visible. Yes. I need to get like a little studio for that's just always ready. Okay. We got the notes. Oh, in my squeaky chair yet again. Is this okay? Hello? I had Cammy put my hair in braids last night and this is the outcome. It was a little frizzy. Let's see. Sorry. I don't like to have the light too bright. Okay. You like my painting? This is the first what is it called? Like abstract piece that I've done. And I'm wanting to go more this route. Like I'm still doing like trees and stuff like that, but I wanna make pieces that are similar to this too, like kind of venture out a little bit. But this is definitely it's going somewhere. I just don't know where. But I love the purple, so I wanted to put it in because it matches this one. One of you guys sent me this one. But hi. Val is here. He loves the purple. Perfect. Well, you can have it if you would like. I wanted to say, let's say hi to everyone real quick. Hi, Rochelle. Happy Sunday. Hi, Casey. Hi, Emily. Jay Snow. Todd. Sarah. Flickerfade. Noki. Melissa. Happy Sunday from Ohio. Kim. Flinker Mary. Oh, thank you, Flinker Mary and Melissa. Donation for the coffee funds. I have been drinking some coffee today. My espresso machine wasn't working. So I got the, what is that? The normal pot of coffee. That's what I'm drinking. But I'm also having this for energy. Have you guys ever tried one of these? These, literally the only reason I bought it was because of this. It's so pretty and it's purple. But now I'm starting to actually really like these. I don't know if they're good, but probably not good for you. But it's purple. The drink is purple too. They have other flavors too. But I think this one's the best one that I've tried so far. But thank you guys for the donations. That was really sweet. Thank you, Melissa and Mary. Hi, Frank. Frank is here. Yes, the painting came out really good. Thank you, Flickerfade. It's not done, but I was kind of messing around to see like how if you I don't know if anyone cares, but if you dilute the paint, then it's easier to do this. Like dilute it with water. Since you guys asked. Oh, thank you for the donation, Flightback 27, $3.99. Flightback 27. Are you new here? Have I seen you here before? Okay. Yeah, let me know. I like doing polls of like where everyone's from. Maybe we'll do that at the end because I think I'm seeing some new faces here that I haven't seen. Okay. I did want to mention before we get into the number of the day, I did talk with some people who are from the order, recently out, and even current members who reached out to me, which thank you to those that did reach out to me. Because remember last week, thank you, Stephanie. Yay, I made it. Glad that you made it, Stephanie. I feel like I've seen you every day, Stephanie, because of Patreon. What was I just saying before Stephanie interrupted me? Just kidding. Oh, someone, maybe I should mention Patreon too. I should have put the link to Patreon down below. I'm going to talk about, there's a lot to talk about today, but let me hurry and get this out of the way. When we talked last Sunday about 56, remember how we were talking about how there was this rumor going around that there's a higher level church, like higher level principles being taught in one of the church sessions and then lower level in the other one. Remember how we talked about that? And I said, anyone from the order want to clarify? Anyone want to talk about like if this rumor is true or where it's coming from? So I had a few people reach out to me, and one said that you can go to either or. There's no like you have to go to this one or you're not allowed to come to that one. And then another one said that they teach the same things in both. So that may very well be just a rumor. But then there's also people saying that it's not the church meetings that are the secret meetings. The secret meetings are secret meetings. So maybe there's just confusion all around, and maybe there's a little bit of truth to the rumor, but it's not to the extent of there's one church session that some people aren't allowed to go to, even in the group. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to clarify, like, I wasn't sure because I'm not going there, so I don't know. So I'm really glad that people from the order even was reaching out and being like, hey, we can go back and forth to either session. There's, thank you for clearing that up. There's still questions as to, obviously, I feel like in any cult there are secret meetings, and the ones that aren't going are the ones that aren't going to know about it, Just like there's secret weddings. I have some other stuff that I wrote in my notes. Oh, I did want to clarify something as well, because I've been noticing a few LDS people getting offended, thinking that I am, what's the word? Like I'm scolding the LDS church, because this happens a lot where people, when I talk about Joseph Smith, they think that I'm bashing the LDS church, and that I have no right to talk about Joseph Smith. But the reality is I'm talking about the Joseph Smith's teachings that we grew up in, living, eating, sleeping, breathing Joseph Smith's true teachings, right? So people in the LDS church get offended when I talk about it. I don't want to call this person out in particular, but there was the gist of it was they were trying to say that, because last week I said that women in the LDS, did I say this last week? I don't know. I don't even know what video was on. It was recently though that they responded and said, please don't lump us together. And never have I said the LDS and the order are the same thing. Obviously not. I don't know where the confusion is. I think it's the Joseph Smith thing that makes people confused that I'm bashing the LDS. But the reality is Joseph Smith did have those teachings. And maybe that's where the trigger's coming from. Like the prophet they had that the LDS church was founded upon, I'm not necessarily talking good about. So then they think that I'm thinking that their whole church is just a lie. The reality is, Joseph Smith's teachings, not very great, because he was married to a 14-year-old. That's one of the youngest ones. This is on LDS.org, by the way. He had at least 30 wives. The youngest was around 14 years old, and the oldest was like in her 80s. And we know this. LDS.org doesn't try to like hide it either. Whether or not this is the argument that a lot of LDS people say, is like whether or not he was actually like consummating marriage. We don't know. It could have just been a spiritual marriage for them to get into heaven, which that even is like, so a woman can't get into heaven without a man. But anyways, the argument was they were saying women can't hold the priesthood. You're spreading false things, da. And I was like, wait. Women cannot baptize to this day. I'm not even talking about like back in Joseph Smith's times. Women cannot baptize in the LDS church today. Only men can. And I believe they can't hold the Melchizedek's priesthood unless it's through their husband. Am I wrong? You can, and I'm feel free to correct me if I am wrong, but can women baptize? And also when I got a blessing in the LDS, like an LDS blessing, it was all men with their hands on my head, no women. And I remember thinking, this is weird. Oh, I would be even more comfortable with a woman giving me a blessing. So I'm just pointing out those things. And I'm also not saying the LDS church is terrible. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that there is any true church. Because churches are man-made. And man are not perfect. The end. Point blank, period. No shade to LDS, but I will, I always get kind of offended when they try to educate me when I was living the true teachings of Joseph Smith. I lived those teachings in the past, and like, yes, I don't know I didn't live in the LDS now times, but even Gerald's like, clearly I missed something working so much, silly LDS church. Not, and I'm also not saying all LDS people do this. It's just there's been a few times where they've tried to correct me and I'm like, no, that's not true. I've even had Mormon missionaries say, Joseph Smith never lived polygamy. And I'm like, that is absolutely incorrect. You should not be a missionary preaching Joseph Smith's work without knowing Joseph Smith. Even Eskel, going on his mission, he was very educated on who Joseph Smith was as a person. And people would bring up Joseph Smith a lot when he was on his mission, right? It's good to know the actual facts. And you don't have to, and I believe this in any religion, you don't have to defend the prophet or else your belief system has to be flawed. You don't have, like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? I feel like that's culty mindset to believe that the prophet's never wrong. Because again, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Right? Anyway, I just wanted to clarify, no shade to the LDS Church, no shade to any religions. I guess my whole point is, you can't act like your church has been perfect since the beginning of time, because no one is. Everything is a learning progression, you know? And if you want to hide the faults and hide the things that they didn't do correctly, then how can you progress and learn from those things? Anyway. Heather Weather. Hi, Heather. I'm pretty sure Joseph Smith began polygamy because he was caught cheating on Emma with a 14-year-old. After he was caught, he said it was because he had a revelation on polygamy. I've heard that story so many times, and like every time a active LDS member is like, I bring that up to them. I'm like, guess what, this happened, because I wasn't there at the time, but I've read, and like there's diaries and there's all this stuff that says that happened. Usually the LDS people are like, that's not true. But none of us were there at the time, so we don't know. That, I will say, in the order, that's how it kind of works. Like, oh, I had direction on her, so that's why I'm pairing off with him. Even like people that I knew and people in my own family, the wife wouldn't know that the husband was going forward on underage women till after it was pretty much done. And it's like, well, God told me to, so. And then the wife feels guilty for questioning God, but in reality, was it God? No, it wasn't. Let me answer that before you answer. No, it wasn't. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to bring up before, right? Let's see. Oh, I don't think this is even relevant anymore, but I watched back my last live with you guys last week, and I was talking about the story of the first wife stealing cookies at Chuckarama. Chicken grandma, is that what you guys called it? at the buffet. The order people love this big buffet called Chuckarama, and I got Cammy to help me clarify the story. So what happened was, the first wife, this is probably, no one cares about this, but the first wife told our brother, our half brother, she said, go get those cookies and put them in my purse. And so she had the purse in between the two. I'm like whispering so no one could hear. She's like, go get those cookies and put them in my purse. And so he's putting the cookies in the purse like his mom told him to. And then the guy, the waiter, is like, hey, you can't do that. You have to pay for those. And then the mom looks at her son and is like, what? Why did you steal those? And like blamed him, but she told him to do it. So that's the full story. Since you guys all asked and were wondering. Hi, Amanda. This is my first time catching you live. I always watch afterwards. Hi, Marina. Wow, I feel like we have some faces, a lot of faces here that I don't usually see. So maybe it's because I went live a little later than usual, because I kind of feel like I usually go live around noon my time. I like that. I like switching it up. All right, now what? She says, girls can get baptized, but I don't think there's any that can perform baptisms yet, but there's not rules saying that they can't. Yeah, so I know girls can get baptized and boys can get baptized. And what the LDS and the order had in common was 8 years old is when they usually do the baptisms. But same thing, the LDS and the order have that in common. Only men perform the baptisms. And in the order, they would say only men can hold the Melchizedek. There's like 3 different types of priesthoods, and the women can't hold that type of priesthood. And I even asked an LDS person, like, why can't women hold the priesthood and do the blessings and perform the baptisms? And the girl, it was a girl, she was like, Well, there's a lot of different reasons, but I've been told that men, this is just coming from them, men are not naturally as, like, what was the word they used? Righteous, or as wanting to do good. Men aren't as wanting to do good and righteous as women are. Maybe it's the woman maternal instinct. And again, this is just a quote that they said. So they need something to be holding them accountable to that, which is trying to attain those priesthoods that the women don't need to really attain because they're already naturally attuned to it. And I was like, okay. To me, and that's not the order's, like, that was someone from the LDS church. The order is more like, well, women are just less than men. Like, they're not going to be able to hold these higher things. And I've explained this before too, where it's like, women would say all the time, like, better marry a righteous man because they're your ticket to heaven type of thing. Like, the man is how you get into the kingdom of God. And again, like, I just have to believe that a lot of our belief systems are in the order now are a lot like I really feel like it's copy and pasted of the timing of the LDS church back in the day. And I really do want clarification, and this is a question for my LDS viewers. I would like to know where that scripture comes from, because I was thinking about this today. The scripture that talks about, because I know LDS people know what I'm talking about when I say this analogy. Not all of them, maybe older generation, but the fence sitter analogy, where the white people were the ones who chose, like in the Great War in heaven, there was Jesus fighting Satan, and the white people chose Jesus. The demons of hell chose Satan, and then the fence sitters were the ones who were not white. And that does come from somewhere in either, is it the Book of Mormon, is it the Doctrine and Covenants, or is it just some racist person back in the day that said it and it trickled down? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So if anyone knows, let me know. Kate says, seems to me the last perfect man who walked the earth didn't turn out so well for him. They nailed him to a cross. That's a good point. And people like to say, well, they said this in the order, Joseph Smith was so righteous, and just like Christ, he was tarred and feathered because people didn't like him, just like people didn't like Jesus. But the reality is, and well, this is what from all my research, he was making people upset because of what he was doing. He actually, and there is record of this, if you look it up. Joseph Smith did spend some time, I believe, in jail for what they called a con artist. Like, he would convince people. Does this ring a bell? Now I'm starting to feel like I'm bashing. But I've never said that I like Joseph Smith. That's never been something that I try to tell people. I've never liked him after I left the order and started doing research and actually digging more. I kind of resent him because he's the reason why I grew up the way that I did. You know, it stems from that. But yeah, look that up, the con artist thing. Joseph Smith was a con artist. You are good. Whoever is creeping on Amanda, back off. She's not interested, I'm sure. Is someone creeping? It's 9 p.m. there? Wow. Where are you, Vicky? What funny. We're all a lighter shade of brown, saying the Bible started in the Middle East, in Africa. But here's the thing. I mean, I don't know what LDS believed, but the order believed that Jesus was white. And they would laugh at me, not they, like saying the whole order was laughing at me. The ones that I would argue with, saying, well, didn't Jesus come from the Middle East? They would go, ha, ha, ha. A white person can be from the Middle East. It's like, why do you care if they were white or not? Why do they have to be white to you? Because you're racist and you want to support your racism. You just can't fathom that Jesus wasn't white. Like, ugh. That's fascinating. I have heard a lot of justifications for anti-blackness in religion, like of course, Ham. But white people being the only ones to side with God in the war of heaven, crazy. Yeah, that's what happened in the order's eyes. And that's why they believe. I know that some of you guys that are returning viewers, like Manny, you've already told us this, but I know that there's some new viewers too. And I'm never going to get over this because they still believe this. They believe in this whole concept of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is why they need to keep their bloodline pure and marry each other. You know, the Kingston bloodline is the bloodline that's the purest. So, because they're keeping it in that 12 tribes of Israel, right? The 12 families, whatever. But the whole idea of the fence sitters, right? The righteous ones are the white ones, and then the non-righteous ones are the non-white ones. They would say that, yes, us in the order are so righteous. We have the opportunity of getting the celestial kingdom of the 3 kingdoms of heaven. Outsiders, I remember some of them debating like outsiders might get a chance of going to the lowest degree of heaven, but people who are not white will go straight to hell. Like there's no point. And I remember thinking that what's the point of them being on earth then? And they would kind of act like, well, that's their punishment for not being able to choose and being a fence sitter. I was like, what? So a lot of people, I don't know, like that whole idea of order members being there, a lot of order members are very humble, good people, nice people, but a lot are also self-entitled, because if you are raised like that, like we are the best. If you guys saw my video of talking about that Paul's son that went and got in trouble for his hate crime because he had attacked the gay couple, that kind of behavior can happen. I feel like it happens more in Paul's family because it's like, so you're raised in this society where we are the best in the entire world, and then take it a step further, I am the leader's son, you know? So it does create some entitled members for sure. But I also knew some very like genuine nice people in the order that really just wanted to get into heaven. Sorry, I just saw a comment I wanted to read. Pamela. Joseph Smith was arrested, I believe, for destroying a printing press of someone speaking about him and the government. How does everyone know all of this? I read about that too. And so people had obviously, like, people who were pro Joseph Smith would say, oh, they were lying about him, and so they had, and they would say like, well, he didn't destroy it, like it was someone in his circle or whatever. And then you know, people out here are like, well, they were saying that Joseph Smith is going around taking men's young daughters, and you know, the whole like quote of Moroni's fiery sword will smite you if you don't become my wife. Like, so then men were getting mad, and then that's why he was tarred and feathered. But then, of course, the pro-Joseph Smithers are like, oh, they couldn't comprehend the true teachings of Joseph Smith, just like Christ, and so they martyred him just like Christ. Martyr? He was martyr? Anyway. Amanda, telling the truth about the LDS Church isn't bashing it. Facts don't care about your feelings. He was a creepy. This is the thing, though, is it's like, it's kind of like when you say, well, Warren Jeffs went to prison for, Google it. You know why Warren Jeffs went to prison for. If you tell a true believer that in the FLDS, they will think you're bashing them. But it's like the fact is the fact. The reality is the reality. And it doesn't mean that all the FLDS people are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Warren Jeffs went to prison for, you know, underage girl, all the stuff. And that's the fact. And I'm not going to hide it. And so when I say these things about Joseph Smith, similar responses to LDS members. So they're like, well, but it's like, the facts are the facts, you know? And yeah, again, I'm not going to say I lived in Joseph Smith's time, so I can't say everything that in these diaries and things, but also the LDS people didn't live in Joseph Smith's time either, and there's documents on both, you know what I'm saying? But LDS.org does, in fact, confirm that he was a polygamist. So any LDS person that's going to tell me he wasn't polygamous, then why are there all these polygamous groups based off of Joseph Smith? The true teachings, right? Why did Tom Green even be, why? Anyway, I did not think I was going to talk that long about it. I think it just bothers me that I lived my entire life like living for Joseph Smith, right? Because of Joseph Smith. And then to have LDS people be like, you're wrong. It's like, but it's kind of a little bit of a good thing, because it's like that means that the LDS Church is so far from what I was living in the order, that they're like, that's impossible that could be happening. But you can't lie to yourself about what did happen, you know? I even want to say it's not even that far off, because like I told you guys before, Michelle's like, who is 57 again? Oh, I didn't even say that yet. Like, blah, 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 Amanda. Can you tell I'm triggered with that subject? Because also, okay, last thing on this, okay? Also, I have had LDS men tell me we're gonna live polygamy in the afterlife. And they're older men, but like it still is a belief system. So when LDS people are disagreeing with me, and then other LDS people are saying we're gonna live polygamy in the afterlife, it's like, come on, you guys. Come on. But yeah, to clarify, I don't hate LDS people or anyone from any religion, really. It's just, but I also don't think that any religion is the true religion of the Lord. The end. Because unless Jesus is here running the church, then it's not perfect. Okay, amen. Everybody face north so we can say prayer. Okay, number 57 is, we can't say his name because he's still alive. But his last name is Kingston. So maybe that'll make it easier for you guys to guess. It just makes it harder. He had only 2 wives. And sadly, his first wife did pass away. So now he only has 1 wife. I was trying to get a number of how many kids. I want to say roughly 20 kids. But he has a lot of grandkids too. And he's a lot older now. And the reason for the clickbait in the thumbnail saying never satisfied, like never enough, I wanted to cover this topic because he is guilty of this. But just like a lot of men in the order are guilty of this, he was trying really hard to get more wives. And it sounds like from what people were saying, he had been trying to get a 3rd wife for a while. And even to the point where, I don't want to butcher this story. Basically, you guys remember Michelle. When Michelle like left the order, I want to say in 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, she ran into this guy at a post office. And he basically said, and I'm not going to say word for word because I wasn't there and I wish Michelle was here to say it. But he was stating that he was supposed to be marrying her to bring her back to the order. Mind you, Michelle's really young at this time, and this man is old. I think he's older than her dad, or old enough to be her dad, or at the same age as her dad. Michelle, are you here? Can you clarify? But that is something that is very common with these men. Like, first of all, they don't see it as an issue that they're going forward on a woman who's younger than their own kids. Second of all, they're just not satisfied. Some of them have, just like that, Paul has 27 wives, okay? At what point are you like, this is enough? You know, maybe at 3, 4, at 20 wives, Paul still wanted more. You know what I mean? Even my dad's guilty of it. Going forward on women who were as young as my sister Cammie. Going forward and not being satisfied with the 3 that they have. And then they get, you know, like, it's like, then you get a 4th. Then you're not satisfied. Then you get a 5th and you're still not satisfied. To me, it's more of a sexual addiction. It's not for God. It's not. It's a power thing. Because even if I thought about it, like, can you just imagine you doing that? Just imagine you having a partner and then getting another partner and then getting another partner and then another. It's, at what point is it just, you're insane, you know? You're insane. I really feel like anyone who is okay with just keeping on doing that and knowing that they're going to be getting another one and more kids, they're not concerned about them, if they're going to be able to give each of these wives and kids a good life. They're not concerned about that. Otherwise, Paul wouldn't have 27. He wouldn't, because you cannot physically take care of 27 women and all of their kids. You can't. they're not concerned about that. That's why. Because they're not paying the child support. They're not taking care of them. So what is it? It's a gain for them, right? It's gaining for them. So this number 57, I mean, he did only have two, but he wanted more. He definitely kept trying to have more. Can you imagine? My mom used to say this thing to make men seem more like we should be going for them. She'd be like, because I would be like, well, they're gonna live polygamy. I don't want, or they're gonna try to live polygamy. I don't want to live polygamy. And she would be like, Amanda, yes, they'll try, but they're not gonna be able to. Like either they weren't Kingston enough, or it was obvious that Paul wasn't gonna give them more women. So that would be a admirable thing, and women who didn't want to live polygamy would go for the men who were still gonna try to live polygamy, but that they knew weren't gonna be successful at it because of the bloodline or whatever. It's like a smart woman tactic to not have to live polygamy, but it's a sad reality. Can you imagine you're married to someone who is constantly trying to get other people, constantly trying to get other women, maybe even underage women, and the only thing that helps you sleep at night is that they're not going to be able to? And in this case, number 57, I think he was one of those ones, like he wasn't going to be able to. I don't know if it was because of his bloodline. I don't know if it was because of his reputation. I'm not so sure. Oh, Eskel's here. Eskel, we are sorry about yesterday. You did not. Oh, the live. I'm gonna put my link to my Patreon down below. I should have put it on beforehand, but I'll put it down below. We are having a new segment weekly that I'm really excited about, that we're gonna be going live every week. And I have some content. Thank you, Noki. She put the Patreon link right there if you wanna be a member. But yeah, we're doing a new weekly deep dive into a book that I'm really excited about, that actually one of our Culty crew members sent to us. Thank you, Flickerfade. They both sent the links. Val says, 57 probably thought he could save her soul by marriage. Just another brainwashed man in the order. Well, and he may let her know that too. Like, it's my responsibility to save you. I have so many emotions on that, because it's like, so one, you think that you have the power, right? The power is in your penis. Is that what it is? And you're gonna bring her back to salvation. But then sometimes I wonder, do you think that they feel like it is their duty to do this? Like they feel so plagued with it? I think some of them do feel that. And I'm gonna be honest, I used that when I first left. So there was a time, I think I've told this story, but like some people, I'm not the only one who did this, okay? When I was leaving, and when a lot of people leave, people blame a lot. There's the blame game. Like, what made Amanda want to leave? Is it this person that she was hanging out with? Is it this? What was making her have temptations towards the devil? Blah, 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 blah. And then some people would confess, like, hey, I think that maybe I could have been nicer to you. And they feel guilty that they're the reason that someone is leaving the kingdom of God, and that's going to be the sin that they have to bring into the afterlife and pay for. So sometimes people, because obviously I wanted to leave because I wanted to leave, but they couldn't comprehend that. And there were some people who were bullies to me and mean to me. So I did be like, yeah, you know what? It is because of you. Which is mean, but it was me also being a 17-year-old being like, getting back at the person that was bullying me my whole life, being mean to me my whole life. I was like, yeah, you're the reason I left. You should pray about that. So sometimes I wonder if they still are like thinking about, sorry, I don't like, sometimes I feel like my eyes adjust and it's okay, and then it starts to like not adjust. And my eyes hurt. I don't know about this hairdo. I like had gel in here and it looks like it's gray hair. Do you see this? It looks like I'm going gray. It's because I'm stressed out, you guys. Was a Kingston ever interested or available to your mom? How do you think your life would be different if she had married one? Well, my dad is Kingston, but not direct like Paul and his family. So my dad is Ortel's kid. So Ortel was the leader before, right? But he was Ortel's kid from a different wife. And Ortel and LaDonna are the parents of Paul, Jesse, Daniel, like all the brothers. So, and my mom did My mom did have the option to marry Jesse. Jesse went forward on my mom. So Michelle's daddy could have been my daddy. And my mom would say that a lot. Like, whenever I'd be complaining about my dad, which was a lot, she'd be like, well, just be thankful you're not Jesse's kid. But not to say, she's gonna get in trouble for me saying that, but it wasn't her being like, Jesse's such a terrible person. It was more of like, dad only has 3 wives and Jesse has a bajillion wives. You'd never see your dad. And then I would be like, I'd rather not see him, you know? He's not that great. That's my point. Thank you for the donation, BD Lexon, for the coffee fund. You're so sweet. Going to hell and it's your fault. Today's been a good Sunday so far. Good, Eskel. Are you going live after this, you think? I was texting you and asking. Hey, Amanda, I'm writing you back maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. Got lots to share. Ooh, okay, perfect. On Patreon. We've been chatting on Patreon. That's another thing too with if you do subscribe to Patreon, I'm trying to be as active on responding to messages on there, and that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. I try to respond on Instagram, but I'm gonna be honest, sometimes messages get lost in there because it's kind of like a bottomless pit. What businesses are owned by the order in Salt Lake City to avoid? Do you live in Salt Lake? So, if you go to DCC Society, no, Davis County Co-op on Wikipedia, I'm pretty sure that's the one, or Kingston Clan owned businesses on Wikipedia. There should be a long list, but there's so many. Arrow Real Estate. If you see a property under Arrow Real Estate, it's an order. It's Arrow Real Estate's an order thing. John's Marketplace is their grocery store on Redwood Road. True Value on Redwood Road is owned by them. Standard Restaurant Supply is owned by them. The one in Arizona and the one in Idaho. Standard Restaurant Supply, it's gotten pretty big. I don't know if they still have advanced copy, but no one ever went there anyways. I worked there. It was literally just order people trying to print off their wedding invitations to their cousins, because where else are they going to print that off? Walmart? They're like, why do you guys look like brother and sister? Because we are. Thank you, Jenna. Love you and Eskel's videos. Thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. She just posted the link to the Wikipedia. Why don't we just go over that right now then? The Latter-day Church of Christ. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know them as the Latter-day Church of Christ, but when I was going to church, there was a sign in the front. It was very faded, but it said LDCC for Latter-day Church of Christ. Also, the Vanguard School that's supposedly public, on their website, I don't know if it's still on there, but at one point it said the gym facility is only for LDCC members. Yet they were trying to claim they were a public school. I like to throw that out there sometimes, because a lot of people were mad that I was trying to shut down their school. And I was like, you were shutting down your own school. And I'm not trying to shut it down. I just don't think you should get $1 million in public funds when it's not a public school. Capiche? And they're like, I don't comprehend. And I was like, then stop talking to me. Ugh. LDCC, okay? So we have the establishment, the finances, the beliefs, the controversies, which I've also heard that there at a time was an order member being paid to edit this every day. But I feel like there are some things you can't take down if there's like evidence, like how it says right here. Jason Kingston allegedly had a relationship with his half-sister, Andrea Johnson, who became pregnant in 1992. She suffered from preeclampsia before being brought into the medical treatment. Had a C-section was performed to save the baby, but Andrea died. And the Salt Lake County officials, that was my dad's full sister, Andrea Johnson, my dad's Burl Johnson. They were full siblings. And she died, I think it was it a week before her 16th birthday. His 16-year-old niece, she attempted to run away, but was apprehended and beaten by her father, John Daniel Kingston. Both brothers, by the way, David and Daniel are brothers. He was arrested and pleaded no contest to the charge of child abuse and served 7 months in jail. David Kingston was convicted of incest and unlawful sexual contact and sentenced to only 10 years. He's out and running around, you guys. 10-year prison term, of which he served 4 years. While they have a section for pedophilia and underage marriages. Yeah, anyone who's new to my channel, I would recommend clicking that link just to brief on this stuff. But I don't see where it shows their... Oh, I guess it does show a few of their stuff, like Tech Firearms. They have a gun company, you guys. A gun company. A gun company. That's scary. They have a lot of companies, but where I remember seeing a list, like a long list of all of them. Maybe I'll do some research and I'll find it again. Is Amber here? Hi, Amber. Amber has a YouTube channel if you guys are interested in subscribing. Amber Hupchick. Go under member assets. Member assets. Contents. Member assets. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, this is definitely not all of them, but this is a good start. We have A1 Disposal. We have A&W Restaurants, AAA Communications, AAA Security, Advanced Copy and Printing. That's the one on Redwood Road, right next to True Value. Those are both owned by the order. Advanced Vending, American Digital Systems. They called it ADS, and my dad works for that, and I believe Jesse and David work for that as well. American Wellness. They have a doctor. They have a doctor, you guys. And there's a lot I could say about their practice. I would not go to that doctor if I live in Utah. If you live in Utah, don't go to Dr. So-and-so, okay? Can I say his name? He has a public profile. Best Distributing, Arrow Real Estate, the Co-op Mine in Huntington. Yeah, they owned the coal mine. It got like shut down because of, there was a whole thing about it getting shut down, but I think it just barely got back up and going. Commercial agent services, Eastside Market. It says defunct because there's no Eastside Market anymore. That was the old grocery store before John's Market, which is on Redwood Road. Enzyme Learning Academy, which is their private school, which is the school that I went to. Enzyme Learning Center, Academy and Center. I don't know what the difference is in those. Enzyme Shoe. I didn't know there was Enzyme Shoe. They also had, what was that shop that you worked at, Eskel? I don't see it on here. The Western, the Eskel, what was that shop that you sold cowboy attire? That was also on Redwood Road? Shoppers, right? Shoppers Boot Corral. Is that in there? Let me see. LMNOP. Oh, it is Shoppers Pawn. Oh, they have a lot of pawn shops too. Remember I was saying there's one specific family that like was in control of all the pawn shops at one point? Maybe not all of them, but Family Stores, True Value, Fidelity Funding Corporation. That is the bank. That's where I worked. If you remember on Escaping Polygamy, where Andrea helped her sister Jennifer to try to go in and get the money out from the front desk, I worked at that front desk. That's where you would go get your money, was Fidelity. But then right down the street was another bank that they called the main office. But when I worked there, they only allowed me to give out $500 a day. Like I had $500 in my little pouch that I was allowed to give out. And it could only be to people who had the authorization from Cardline. So even if they had the money in the account, if they didn't call Cardline and make sure it was approved, that I wasn't supposed to be giving it to them. Extreme Pond, Zion Ponderosa Ranch Resort, World Enterprises, Washakie Renewable Energy, Washakie Ranch, Washakie Farm, Vanguard Academy, which is the school that they were trying to have be public and get the public funds, but it was actually just mostly like, I think there was only one or maybe like a handful of kids that were outsiders, and they only let them come in because they were trying to prove that they were not being biased to this religion. Thank you for this, Rochelle. Okay, yeah, anyone who wants to look at this list, you just go to that Wikipedia link she put in there, go to the member assets, and these are all the businesses. I worked at Shoppers. Yeah, Eskel worked at Shoppers Boot Corral. Did you like it? It's out of business now, yeah. But I think they still own that store. Maybe they're just renting it to another vendor. I don't know. Oh, there's still a braid right here. I didn't get it all the way out. The Hallelujah. What are you guys talking about? A lot of cults will own multiple corporations for tax breaks. Could be how they eventually get taken down. It's happened before. They definitely do like to evade, bleed the beast. That's what they call it. Can you guys get out of my face? Just kidding. You're a little too close. Eskel, it's on Wikipedia. Wow, how did she find all those? Yeah, Rochelle found the list. And that's the thing, I found the list before, but I feel like it's because I was like Googling businesses owned by the order. I feel like it's pretty easy to find. But tax evasion. Define tax evasion. The illegal non-payment or underpayment of tax. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Oh, shoot. I lost you guys. Where'd you go? Right here. I had a concept that I wanted to, this has nothing to do with cults necessarily. I've never caught you live. This is the greatest day of my life. Aw, yay, Miranda. Where are you from? I kind of want everyone to say where they're from because I really feel like there's a lot of new people here. Welcome, Miranda. Amanda, what does your sign say right under Culty Cup of Coffee? My sign? An album? Culty Cup of Coffee, an album? Or are you talking about this Christmas ornament? This Christmas ornament says Merry Christmas, Amanda Ray 2022. Is that the one you're talking about? This is actually probably one of the best gifts ever. We could go, it's got, because I went live for an entire year, and that was my gift that you cutie little Culty crew members gave me. So it's gonna stay here forever until I die. But yeah, it has pictures of every single live that I've ever done. A whole year's worth. Hi from Massachusetts. Oh, I love reading where you guys are from. Eskel says, I'm from my house. Well, thank you for joining, Eskel. It's nice to have you here for the first time. Okay, wait. Wow, we got a lot of Texas. Wow. Okay, New York City, Manhattan. Do you like Manhattan? Long Island? The Bronx? Harlem? What part? What's your address? Where exactly? Oregon. Okay, I really do want to know. New York and Oregon I want to know because I've been to a lot of places in New York and I lived in Oregon. I was in Coos Bay, Eugene. I love Cannon Beach. Remember last time we were showing this picture? Oh, I hope I don't drop anything. This is for you. Cannon Beach. I stayed in Gearhart. Yeah, I love Oregon. Boston. I was in Boston for Halloween, not last year, but the year before. Me, Rachel, and Cami, we went to Salem. I'm jealous. Hi from Texas. I've been to Texas one time, and I was like, why is everywhere I go have catfish? I've never heard of this. First live I've caught too, from England. Aw. Good to see you here, Short Hobbit. Texas, USA. Cami was just in Texas. I think Dallas is where she went. Illinois. Never been to Illinois. Moscow. Never been there. Oh, Bluffdale. So you must run into the AUB. Cody Brown. Did I hear Cody Brown? I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. That's where I went, where I flew into when I went to Texas was Fort Worth. And may I say, Miranda, everyone from Fort Worth was very nice. So you're probably very nice. Dang, a lot of Texans here. Georgia. I was in Savannah, Georgia, and it was beautiful. So, were you born there? I always feel like when I went there, I felt like everyone I met was born in Georgia. It's a beautiful state. Chicago, San Diego. Wow. People from all over. New Hampshire, never been there. Never been to Chicago either. Rachel has. Have been to San Diego. Colorado Springs, Colorado. I lived in Colorado Springs. I For a period of time, apparently one of the happiest places in America, top 5, was Colorado Springs. And when I lived there, I was like, I understand this. I do. Do a poll. Are you new here or are you... Ooh, okay, that's a good idea. Are you new to Culty Cup of Coffee? Because I am interested to see how many came, because a lot of you came from that Handmaid's Tale video, which we're doing another one, by the way. Okay, are you new to CCC? Yes, no. This is really cool to see. I ask, maybe I don't ask it a lot, actually. I feel like I do, and maybe people are annoyed, but I love hearing where you guys are from. Jersey, Noki's from Jersey. I love New Jersey. I was in New Jersey with Eskel and Rachel. Was it Harrison? Was where we stayed in our hotel. And we went to Hoboken. From Wales. Nice, never been there. I am from the Canadian prairies. I have been to Canada. Pamela, yep, that could be their downfall. Not even the big boys. FBI wants to mess with the IRS. That's the way to get to the head of the snake, girl. Maybe you're predicting the future. Let's hope. Michigan, Rochelle's from Michigan. I've never been there. San Francisco, I have been there. I have been on the Crooked Street. Scottsdale, Arizona, I was just there 2-3 weeks ago. Hi from Massachusetts. Have been there. Boston. Salem. An album. Thank you, honey. Oh, that's what you were looking for, yeah. Culty Cup of Coffee, an album. You're like, what does this say? From Philadelphia, PA. So that one is on my bucket list. I really want to go to Pennsylvania. Indiana. Never been there, but I did live on a street called Indiana Avenue when I was a kid. Florida. I've been to Jacksonville, Florida. I want to go to Miami, though. Wow. Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. I really want to go to Vancouver. I'm pretty sure Vancouver is where is The Handmaid's filmed? Oh, it's Toronto. But Vancouver, I believe, is where Bates Motel was filmed. I feel like Bates Motel and Handmaid's Tale, like, I want to go to that, and I feel like they're similar. Maybe that's just in my head. Bates Motel filmed. The whole time I thought that Bates Motel was filmed in Oregon because it says it's Oregon, but it's Canada. Again. Emily's from New Jersey. Valerie's from Central Pennsylvania. Pamela's from Jackson, Ohio. Roseanne is from Vermont. Christine's from Germany. That's so cool. Cody is from Soda Springs, Idaho. I was in Idaho in October. I went to go see Allison. New Jersey, California, Northeast. Wow, we have a few Ohio. Caroline, did you know that there's a few people from your state here? Idaho, formerly from Park City, Utah. Why would you move out of Park City? If I lived in Park City, I would never leave. I love Park City. But maybe there's a pretty place in Idaho that I don't know about. West Virginia. Jessica, does that song get annoying? Because you're from there. Amber's from Philly. Lauren is from Seattle. Radish Raven is from Sweden. Kendra is from Linkburg, Virginia, right? Wow, a lot of you guys are in the same areas. Y'all should exchange numbers. Just kidding. Quebec, Canada, Central Texas. Wow. Hey, Amanda, have you hit 1 million followers yet? No, I have not. No, I have not. New York, another New Yorker. I am here from Virginia. A lot of people from Virginia. I was gonna say a lot of virgins here. What is someone from Virginia called? Because Utah's Utahan, Californian, Virginian. Is that it? Do you live in Manhattan? I'm so jealous. Pennsylvania. I'm from Oregon, but I live in England right now. How did that happen? That's cool. Harlem. I love Harlem. New Jersey, Seattle, Vancouver, Utah County, Utah. You know what's crazy? I thought that when I was starting to do YouTube, it was going to be mostly attracting Utahns. I like never see people from Utah on here. I feel like they're like, we don't want to hear it, Amanda. We like living in the bubble, not knowing. Sydney, Australia. That's on my bucket list. I really want to go to Australia. Staten Island. 1234 Fake Street. That's your address? Okay, I'll be right there. Not new, but first time saying hi. Hi. Hi, Kit Kat from Kansas City. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's nice, right? I've heard it's very flat, right? Is there tornadoes? Is that true? Peoria, Illinois. Wow. That's crazy. I feel like we're not even missing a state, are we? Louisiana. I don't think we have any Louisianans here yet. Whatever did happen to Stephanie's sister Jennifer when she helped her get her out? Did she go back and get married? Yep. So from what I was understanding is she left on the show. She went to go stay with Andrea, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong if someone in the order knows more about this, but I think they were trying to get Jennifer to marry someone else that she was supposed to marry, but she wanted to marry this guy over here, right? So she's wanting to marry this guy, but they're trying to make her marry this guy. So she runs away and is like, I'm leaving the order. And then they bribe her saying, okay, you can marry who you want to, just come back. I believe that's the gist of what happened. Now she's like, has kids and is married in the order. Los Angeles, Vermont, Brooklyn, Minnesota, Toronto. Wow. That's cool. Is this fun for you guys? Because it's fun for me. I just moved from the Bronx. Say hi to my city for me. I was driving through the Bronx with Eskel and Rachel last time we were there. I wanted to go somewhere in the Bronx, but we didn't make it. We didn't have enough time that day. But we did ride our bikes from Central Park to the Brooklyn Bridge. The Bronx, though. Isn't Nicki Minaj from the Bronx? I swear she has a song where she's like, grew up in the Bronx. No? Eugene, I'm north of Eugene, of Oregon. Nice. Long Island. Oh, I love Long Island. I want to go back. I very rarely get to catch your lives because of the time difference. I think England is 7 hours ahead of you guys. Wow, Vicky. That's the thing is, I feel like when I go earlier, we get more like from the UK and from the, is it earlier? There's some times where we get more people from the UK. And I feel like I forgot what I was going to say because I read someone that said England. Rebecca's from England. Warren, Ukraine is from north of Eugene, North Oregon. I'm from Alabama. Sarah's from Alabama. We have marriage cousins too. That's the #1 joke I get. Like whenever I, like on TikTok, when I make jokes about my dad being married to his sister, then there's always one comment that's like, what in the Alabama is this? Why do you think that is? Why is that Alabama has that in common? It's just a cultural thing. It's not like weird to date your cousin. Like, how'd you guys meet? Oh, at a family reunion. Oh, wait, what? I went to University of Oregon, so go Ducks. Hee hee. Hee hee. Orlando, Florida. Another person from Canada. Oh, Todd, I didn't know you're from Florida. That's cool. If you make it back out here, we should meet for coffee. In Oregon? Portland, Oregon has some of the best coffee I've had. So there's not a lot to get me to go, you know. I'll go. In Arizona, but from Oregon. Nice. I eventually want to have a place in Oregon for sure. Hi from West Jordan, Utah. Okay, we have 2 Utahns here. I used to live in West Jordan and I went to, for like a second, went to Copper Hills High and Sunset Ridge Junior High. Literally though, it was like a second. I shouldn't even say that I went there because no one knows me because I was only there for 2 seconds. Because I got in trouble. I got in trouble for hanging out with boys, so I got pulled out really quick. Hello from Indiana. We also have cousin marriages. Does have to be a second cousin though, as if that makes it better. It does. It actually does. The gene pool's a little more wide variety. Hi from northeastern Ohio. I swear we have like 7 people from Ohio here. Amanda, you ever coming to Ohio? Now I guess I have to, because pretty much all of you guys are from Ohio. And Texas. From Texas originally, but live in Harlem. Wow. I always find it so like, I like hearing the stories of when someone's here and then moves all the way over there, and I always wonder why. A lot of the time it's a partner or it's school or work, you know. What years in Eugene? Oh, that I lived there? I lived in Eugene, I want to say 2015. 2015 was like around, you know where the Tillamook cheese place? Do you know where that is? Is that in Eugene? Because I would go there and I really liked it. Little Rock, Arkansas. Nice. Minnesota. Lehi, Utah. Sorry, we're just talking about where everyone's from, but I enjoy this. Where were we? When your dating app is your family group chat. Is that Alabama? Ew. Nasty. J-Lo is from the Bronx. Okay, maybe I'm mixing her up. Cardi B is from the Bronx. It's okay to not have visited the Bronx, Amanda. I drove through it. I just wanted to be a part of it. It's okay to not have visited, okay? Nicki Minaj is from Trinidad. I swear she has a song where she says the Bronx. No? She says it just like that. The Bronx. We're really original. Ohio is known as the Buckeye State. Kansan from Kansas. Kansan? I'm a Kansan. I don't like how that sounds. Hi Amanda, how are you doing today? I'm doing good, Kevin. How are you? Reminder to give the video a like. Oh, thank you, Heather. Living in Utah for 40 years now, I often wonder if I've actually met members of the order and had no clue. Oh, I guarantee if you were living anywhere near like Salt Lake or West Valley, Taylorsville, you ran into them at Walmart's. Well, I don't know if you go to Walmart, but they go to Walmart. Walmart's, Chuckarama, you know, Golden Corral. I was gonna say, where are some other places? Lagoon. When they did that big, I think Lagoon did this huge pass thing where if you get a certain amount of people on the pass, it was really cheap. And the order's really big on like cheap free things. So they would get a ton of members on passes to get it to be super cheap. Vasa too, they tried to do that with Vasa. And I think it got to the point where they kind of took advantage of it because they got like everyone who wanted a gym pass to be on this Vasa pass. So it would be like $1 per person. I don't know exactly how much it was, but it was like a steal of a deal. I don't know because I wasn't invited to be a part of it. Okay. What did Caroline did you donate? Thank you. I personally will host you if you come to Ohio and will give you a list of coffee places to visit. Aww. I'm tempted. I just need to make sure I got my stuff in order first before I start traveling all over the world. Gotta make sure I find someone who can take care of these plants. Because I can't even when I'm here. Amanda, you need to come to the Canadian prairies. I'll show how we party here. Party hardy in the prairies. Have you ever seen it? Well, I just keep picturing Charles Ingalls, the prairies, the prairie, like that's what I'm thinking. Is that what you're thinking too? Is that how you party, like Charles Ingalls? Prairie, house on the prairie. I want to travel more. Washington here. I travel around Washington. I like Washington. I really liked Bellingham. I have a whole video on Bellingham. Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. Nice. What is there to do in Kentucky? Also, is anyone from Oklahoma? You're gonna get offended if I say this. What is there to do in Oklahoma? There's really nothing to do. Chase tornadoes? Amanda, it sounds like you need to go on tour. Just visit me and Eskel actually were talking about, he's like, Amanda, let's go to Ohio. We were talking about having like a segment on our channel where we literally just go visit you guys and interview you guys about your lives and put it like on a podcast. I think that stuff's interesting. I think it's interesting to ask, like, but I would be asking probably personal questions like, what do you think happens when we die? Why do you think that? I feel like that would be really cool though. Kentucky, what is there to do in Kentucky? Drink whiskey. Well, that's that. Have you been to DC or Atlanta, Georgia? I flew into Atlanta, Georgia when we were filming Escaping Polygamy, actually. It was the first time I remember I was like kind of fresh out of the order, and when I got to Atlanta, Georgia, I was like, this is so different. And I was just in the airport and Jessica was like, yeah, it's a lot different than Utah. It's because we were so used to, in Utah, especially at the time, everyone is white. Everyone in Utah is white at the time. That's how it felt anyways. And realizing, that's the thing, is I never realized how abnormal kind of, or how weird that is that Utah is so like whitewashed, till I flew into Atlanta, Georgia, and I was like, am I the only white person here? It was interesting to notice that I noticed, you know? And I was like, I think that's not good. I think I need to have more culture in my life. But also being someone coming from a cult who is only whites, you know, they think that Italian bloodline is even pushing it. But I loved Georgia. So I stayed in the airport in Atlanta, but I got to go out in Savannah and like buy peaches and stuff like that. And that was really cool. Very green, like luscious state. I love Bellingham. Had an aunt and uncle that used to live there and loved visiting. Bellingham is so pretty. Man, people's stories are so fascinating and are all so different, yet have common threads. I would love to listen to you interview people more. Thank you. Okay. Because I was like, is that too like off-brand to go travel and just get to know people and hear their stories? Because I've been so like culty. But I think that it may even turn into culty talk anyways, because I'm fascinated about hearing why a person believes in what they believe and what brought them there. And a lot of you guys have stories of really strict religious backgrounds and then finding yourself in whatever religion or whatever belief system now. And it's really fascinating to me to hear, and I think a lot of you guys would like hearing it too. Sorry, I have the sniffles. J Snow, Oklahoma equals farming and drinking. That's what I was thinking. Bad thing is I can't drive in Columbus. I am awful in city traffic, but I try and figure something out if y'all ever make it this way. Oh, really? Is Columbus like the big city of the area? A haven for the lost. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I had a shirt from Urban Outfitters that said getting lucky in Kentucky, so maybe that's what they do. They get lucky. OMG, that would be so fun. Do it. Okay, I'm glad you guys like that idea. You can visit the Fred C. Murrah building. Never heard of that. Fred C. Murrah building. For the Federal Election Commission. I've never heard of that. I'm gonna keep that tab open. I'm gonna look into that later. Yes, Amanda and Eskel road tripping van life. Yes. Okay, be ready. Be ready, Caroline, because we're coming. You should travel and have discussions about it. I really liked doing like my Oregon video, my Malibu video. I love, like, those kind of videos are so fun for me to film, so fun for me to edit, but I also feel like they're the least viewed videos. But I still love making them. More videos with Eskel would be good. Yes, me and Eskel are working on something, right, Eskel? Where is he? I feel like he's popping in and out. Just curious, why do they hate Italians' religion or skin color? Religion or skin color? I believe, and they're gonna say we don't hate Italians, but they don't want to mix with them, right? Because I think it goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel, and they believe that Italian bloodline is kind of similar to, you know, not white bloodline, that they're maybe not a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. So we've talked about this before, discussed the DeFabrizios, the DeFays, you know, on number 55, Culty Cup of Coffee, how Fred Kingston had multiple wives that were of that Italian DeFay bloodline. None of those kids got married, but then the one wife that was of Kingston bloodline, those kids got married. So it was interesting that even in the cults, you know, the Italian bloodline, it's because it's just not the 12 tribes. It's just not the pure bloodline that they want. And they would just say things like, someone said something like, LaDonna said that you can't marry an Italian until 9 generations. It has to like breed out. Stupid. It's just dumb stuff. But yeah, it's nothing like, yeah, nothing logical really. It's just a reason to, what's the word, segregate? I don't know. And it sucks because they still believe that way. I had an argument with someone that kept being like, well, it says in the Bible the 12 tribes and we need to stay true to the 12 tribes and da-da-da. And I'm like, so whatever you gotta say to support your racism. But we're not racist. We just don't believe in mixing races. And we don't believe that the non-whites will ever make it into heaven like the whites. Like, okay, shut up. Barbados is tropical. Yeah, Jason, you've been to Barbados. We were in Oistins, Barbados, because Eskel served his mission out there. Oistins was beautiful. Beautiful. And the water was so warm. Could it also be that at one point the Italians and Irish were seen like as if they were black people and treated horribly? I didn't know that was a thing. I always thought it was just because the members that did come from that Italian bloodline, they did appear darker. And remember how I was called the N-word because I appeared darker too, but it was because of my Johnson genes. But me and this kid that came from Italian bloodline, we were in the same, was it the same grade? We were around the same age and we both got called the N-word. He was the Italian one and I always thought it was because they appeared to be darker. Italians and Irish were heavily discriminated against in America in the 19th century, if you can believe it. Huh. I think I did hear that about Irish because I watched a show on it where it was hard for, like, people who were coming from Ireland. I was gonna say Irisha? Is it Irisha? Is it? Anyway, Irish men were coming for work and it was really hard to get jobs because there would literally be, is this accurate? There were signs that would say no one Ireland basically, but I think there was like a slur towards people that were Irish. I'm both Italian and Irish, LOL. Okay, so they definitely wouldn't accept you in the order. So don't even try. Just catching up, but also from Eugene, Oregon. Oh, nice. I always get so jealous when people are from Oregon. I'm like, good for you, because I want to be there. Huh. I learn something every time I go live. You guys teach me something. I've been holding this the whole time because I don't want to drop it. This has been fun. How long have we been live for? I feel like we barely even talked about number 57. I knew him in the order. I just don't have I don't have any stories that I can tell about him that aren't like really embarrassing. There's like an embarrassing story about him, but I don't want to ruin his life. I'll keep that in my pocket for later, you know, for when I need to use it. I have some German blood. What about that? German bloodlines. I don't know if anyone in the order had a significant amount of German bloodline. Maybe. I don't know. Alaska is beautiful in the summer also. Been to Juneau, Skagway, Sitka. My dog's named Sitka, and she had 2 babies, and we named them Nome and Kodiak after Alaska. I've never been though. Sounds really pretty though. Vancouver, Canada was super, super beautiful and clean, and people were so nice. Aww. I want to go. You want to go, Jennifer? You want to go with me? Okay, it looks like, let's see. I'm going to close this poll. End poll. We have 18% that are new here, 17% that are new here, and 82% that are not new here, and a total of 201 votes. So if that's a total of 201 votes, does that mean that's roughly like 40 people are new here? Did I do the math right on that? Yes. I am fully Croatian. Anybody there? Is anyone else from Croatia? Anybody? I believe everyone has experienced racism one way or another. The world just has to remember that and be compassionate. Yeah, I agree. I think that there's always going to be some form of like, what is it, profiling? Is that the word? Judgment. And I think a lot of people, it's like the whole judge a book by its cover. It's kind of like maybe if someone wronged you and they had a certain nationality, then that put a bad taste for that whole nationality. You know what I'm saying? There's that's not a way to be thinking though, because then you're categorizing, you know. Finally made a live. I've been watching you for a while. I'm from Wales in the UK. Aww. Wow. Is Wales the, this is a dumb question, I'm just gonna Google it. Is Wales the capital? Is Wales the capital? No, it's not. Okay. It's not, you guys. I was asking for you because I know you were wondering. Amanda. Yes. Where did it go? Wales is a country? I thought I said that. You guys were the ones asking. Where is Wales? Where is it? It's kind of like when I was asking that poll on Instagram and I learned someone was from Latvia, and I was like, what is that? Wales is of Great Britain. Wales is on the islands of Great Britain to the west of England and covers west. I'm like pointing. That's west. That's where it is. To an area 20,000 square kilometers. That's around half the size of Netherlands, Slovenia. I don't know this. Smaller than New Jersey? It's a country smaller than New Jersey? Did anyone know that? Please say you didn't. Isn't Wales in England? It's of Great Britain. That's what it says. Is Wales in England or UK? Wales is a country that forms part of the islands of Great Britain. Okay. Okay, well, not everyone knew that, right? Guys, only 28 likes and 228 watching. Hit the like button. Aw, button. I just said. No, there's 93 likes. Let me refresh. You gotta refresh to see how many. Yeah, there's 93 right now. Did you guys know 93 is my Grandpa Ray's number in the order? So if we get up to, I hope we get up to at least number 100 of Culty Cup. I mean, here we go. We got 100 likes. Because we're at 57 now, and I want to get to 100 because the number 100 is Priscilla's new daddy that she had, the lawyer for one of the lawyers for the order. I hope he's scared. Just kidding. Wales is part of Great Britain. It has its own culture and language, and they are fiercely proud of their heritage. Isn't that how most countries are? No, maybe not. As a Jewish kid, other kids would say I should have to come to school on Christmas, to which I would say that I should then have off all 8 days of Hanukkah. Why would they even say that? That's so... Did you know in the order we didn't, so you know how some schools... Do all schools actually take Martin Luther King off? I don't know, actually, but the order didn't. That's what I was getting at. They didn't even acknowledge that as a holiday. I didn't really even know who Martin Luther King was till I left. That's why we need to travel more. Man is still living in a box. You didn't know that either, Eskel. Don't act like you knew that Wales wasn't a capital. Love my Welsh heritage. That's good. MLK is a federal holiday. See, look, I'm learning so much from you guys. Watch young Chandler Crump on YouTube. Chandler Crump. Why do I feel like someone has recommended me this before? Okay, leaving that tab up for later. The difference is that England has not always been compassionate towards the Welsh. That's why they try hard to preserve their heritage. I need to just take like another history class, or is that annoying? Do you like it? Because I can do it more. I need to take like a history class or something to get the common knowledge that everyone has that I am deprived of. Any Welsh people here speak Welsh? Most have no clue. Oh, do you know a lot of Welsh people, Emma, in your area? The thought I was getting a free day off of school. They thought I was getting a free day off of school. A free day? They were too, though. But you shouldn't be able to, apparently, in their minds. Lucky Burrito, did you send me an Instagram message? Because I was looking through my Instagram request DMs for a Lucky Burrito. And you said you sent me one, but I didn't see it. Amanda, you should get a map of your wall and pin places that people are from. Should we make a live out of that? And like put your guys' names on a pin? That's a cool idea. You know what me and Eskel was thinking for an idea for a video, just for, cause I once a month I want to do a fun video. Get a map, have a dart, blindfold, throw it, and then we travel there and film it. Thoughts? You like it? You hate it? There's a documentary about Prince Charles, now King Charles III, when he was crowned the prince there in 1969, I think. Is that on Netflix? Oh, thank you for the donation, Mary. What is your grandfather's number? So that's what I was saying. Number 93 is my Grandpa Ray's number, which is my mom's dad, right? And he's the one that didn't really want to be in the order, and like you guys know that whole story. But before he died, they gave him the number 93, and now it's on his gravestone. I believe he was also buried in order garments, but my other grandpa, I never even met. It was Ortel, and he's number 8. He was the leader before. So we go from number 8, Kingston side, to number 93 is my mom's dad. So if we do make it to 100, we will cover 93, my grandpa, and that one's going to be a long one. By the way, the clickbait on this video, I don't know if anyone cares. Those are all order men, and I found it on the internet. Found that picture on the internet. I spy my dad. He's in there. The map is a cool idea. Yay, love the idea. Oh, really? Okay, perfect. LMAO Flickr. What did Flickr say? What did he say? I hope you like going to the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Is that how you typed it? I hope you like going to the middle of the Pacific Ocean then. Okay, well, obviously we get a rethrow if it's on the Pacific Ocean. Okay, Eskel, when we film, because we're getting together to film a little segment about some sister wives stuff. But I think we should also film us throwing a dart on the map, throwing a map on the dart. That's a better idea. Should we just throw, Eskel will hold the dart and I'll throw the map at him. And then whatever it punctures. I hope it is a place we've never been to, and I feel like it will be. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle of America. And here's the thing. We have to spin. Whoever's throwing the dart has to be spun. Like a basketball on your, you know. And then then they can throw the dart and hope that they don't put a bunch of holes in the wall. What if it lands on Utah? Ugh. Okay, if it lands on Utah, do we re-throw the dart? What if it lands on a place in Utah that we've never been to before? Like somewhere like Scipio in the middle of nowhere. You'll end up hitting Salt Lake City. You get a re-throw if it lands on Utah. Okay, thank you. Okay, we get a re-throw if it lands on Utah and a re-throw if it lands on the ocean and anywhere that's covered in ice that we don't want to go to. Antarctica. Map is a cool idea, but be careful what you wish for. You could wind up in a city with a... Oh. Why you gotta go there, Todd? Okay, we also get a rethrow. Okay, we get 3 options for rethrows. If it's Utah, if it's in the middle of the ocean. 4 options for rethrow. We'll just make some rule guidelines before we film the video. What we do, we just film us throwing the dart as many times till we like the destination, and then we just edit it so that it looks like that was the first throw. Any place other than Ohio is a rethrow. Eskel really wants to go to Ohio. You know what would be cool? Throwing the dart and then finding out which ones of you are near that and hanging out with you guys. Yes? Sounds like airport roulette. Oh, there's a word for it. I didn't know that. There's a name. You could make it a map of America. That's true. That's probably better and more affordable. For news, I like the websites. The Daily Wire. I'm off to bed. Gotta work tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Good night, Christine. Does anyone else want some Velveeta cheese dip when you hear Ortel? No. What is the correlation with my grandpa Ortel and cheese? It'd be so cool to see where all your followers are from. I know, and to get to see them face to face, hear their story, how they wound up here with all of us. And honestly, it's probably all of you guys have really interesting stories, and I would love to hear it. Rotel is a tomato, pepper, canned thing you put in Velveeta to make queso if you're white. Rotel and Ortel? Rotel, Ortel. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. I'm kind of hungry now. Rotel or Ortel? Ha ha ha, yes, LOL, it's the best dip. Rotes. Ortel sounds like Rotel. Why is this common knowledge? Every time I go live, I feel like there's something that's common knowledge that's like now I'm aware of that I was my whole life not aware of. Like me and Michelle were talking about this. So I and most people in the order say, I won you. Like I won you at chess. I won the game. I won you. And the only people who correct me are outsiders. They say, it's not I won you, it's I beat you. And I'm like, potato, tomato, it's I won you. And I beat you sounds like I beat you with a stick, you know? I'm right. And I went my whole life thinking that that's proper grammar until recently. I won you is not proper grammar. So no one else in the world says I won you except for order kids. I'm just now finding that out. And no, sir. I think some people say no, sir, actually, out in the real world. But we said no, sir, all the time in the order. Like, no, sir. You know? I beat you. Okay, Melissa, it's I beat you. Potato, tomato. I have no idea what this cheesiness is about. Thank you, Denise. It's also probably because you're from Canada, though. I'm American and I don't even know what it is. Go to Quebec City. Quebec. I'm gonna go to all these places one day. I beat you or I won the game. I beat you or I won the game. So you can say I won the game, but you can't say I won you. I won you is a Utah thing. It is? Haha. You know what I also learned when I moved to Vegas is saying ornery is a Utah thing. People don't even know what the word ornery means other places. Like the baby's being ornery. Amanda, that's interesting from in linguistic perspective difference in language in a community that's more insular. I'm going to be honest. I only know a few of those words. Have you seen that? Have you seen the movie Good Burger? And the guy's reading the piece of paper and he's like, I know some of these words. That's how I felt right there reading your... That's interesting from a linguistic perspective. Differences in language in a community that's more insular. Oh my God. I need to take a picture of that and go back to college. Katie Cat, you're so smart. I'm gonna go to your YouTube channel and subscribe. I wanna see. Do you make videos? I need to broaden my vocabulary and I need to hang out with people like you so that I can do that. And stop saying, I won you. I have never heard anyone say I won you. Well, now you have, Valerie. I won you. Show up to the airport with a bag packed. Let the person at the desk decide. Whew. What if they just pick the most expensive ticket? My friend calls me ma'am when I'm being ridiculous. Ma'am? I like that. I vanquished you at chess. Okay, Flirvade. No one says that. No one. I won the game. Okay, fine. I crushed you. See, how come I could say I crushed you, but I can't say I won you? No. No. I think ornery is a southern thing. I don't know. Also, fry sauce. There's this big battle. Did Idaho create fry sauce or did Utah? It's just mayonnaise and ketchup. That's fry sauce. And I didn't know that wasn't a thing until you go out of Utah and you ask for the drive-thru for fry sauce and they don't know what it is. Amanda, I want to make YouTube videos like I am writing scripts. Oh, you should! I'm trying to find your channel. Let's see. You now have a new subscriber. I like your banner too, Katie. Katie Cat. I need to get a better banner for my YouTube. I'm new to YouTube, you guys. I'm still learning. Why crushed and not beat? Exactly. Both of those are wrong, just so you guys know. Fry sauce is a fancy thing my mother made up. I gotta go now, but been great to catch some of your lives. Your channel is amazing and inspiring. Aw, thank you, Vicky. It was good to see you. Boudicea says, I won you sounds like what you would say to a third wife. I won you. You are mine now. I think about it. I won you is kind of appropriate for older folks. If you think about it. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to say it anymore. Okay, fine. Arctic Circle has the best fry sauce. Yes. Did Arctic Circle originate in Utah? Ornery is Canadian. Fry sauce is ketchup and mayo, right? It's just mixed together. Denise is like, ketchup is fry sauce. I would love to help you with your banner. I am a designer and illustrator. Really? Because I just use the Canva app, but the Canva app has a hard time creating YouTube banners. The Canva app's really good for YouTube thumbnails, but not the banners. Amanda, I'm working on some cool logos and media material for your channel. Like, oh, no. I want to see. That's exciting. It's like a gift. It's like a reward. I've been saying that nonstop these past 3 days, on TikTok, where this is the sound that's like, it's like a reward. I gotta stop. Someone please tell me what ornery means. I'm from England and I have no idea and I want to know. Ornery is like when the baby's being fussy, or someone's like, when someone's like, are you on your period? It's kind of like, you're ornery. That was a bad example. It's just like fussy, upset, ornery. Let's just Google it. Maybe I'm using it wrong. Ornery. I have this thing where I have to Google because, one, I get corrected a lot, and two, my mom used words inaccurately, and my aunt, her and her sister, like, she would say, Amanda, some people are so oblivious, and I would be like, Bolivia? Like Bolivia? Bolivious. And my mom would say, anyway, sometimes I feel like she gets really embarrassed when I bring those things out. Bad-tempered or combative, ornery. Yeah, so like fussy, ornery, ornery. That's, so what else is new? Are you not supposed to pronounce the first R in ornery? Ornery. No, it's on. I always thought ornery was spelled with an H, like honor, E. I never knew it was spelled ornery. It doesn't seem like the R should be there. Amanda, you are ornery. I know I am. Just kidding. No, the R is weird though. Which is also why when people correct me on my spelling, yes, I get embarrassed, but I'm also like, who gets to decide? Who put the R in ornery? That doesn't make any sense. And also, there's like two spellings for oh man, this is gonna bother me if I can't think of it. Celebration? Gathering? No. It's on invitations. You are invited to a party, the celebration. Once I think of it, I'll tell you guys. But there's two spellings for it. Favor, is that it? No. I'll think of it. I just am to the point where, like, yes, I try to spell everything correctly, but what is correct? Someone who decided that it is correct. And we all just live by it now. I thought it meant like sassy. Ornery is sassy. You're so ornery. Slang. Is ornery just slang, or is it actually in the dictionary? It is. I think it's just an older person term. It's like, what's another older person term that you don't really hear people say anymore? Do people still say hip? Like, I'm hip. I just remember seeing a post that was like, if you say you're hip, then you're not hip. Jersey says ornery. Ornery. Hi, Christy. Glad you're here. We really spent most of the time just talking about the word ornery and debating if I won you is correct, proper English. We talked about number 57 for like 2 seconds. And I squeaked in my chair. I had one more thing I wanted to bring up before we close for prayer. Me and Cammy were debating, what were we debating today? So this has been in my mind a lot. The fact that there was a point in time where, it just blows my mind. There was a point in time where people were not aware of germs, right? And we know the story of how germs came about, right? How it's not like it was invented. Germs were always around. We just weren't aware that they were around. Doesn't mean that we weren't being affected by them. If you ignore something, it doesn't mean it's not there. Paul. Just kidding. So there's germs, right? And then how we found out about it is because of this. Well, this is what I was taught in college, was that that whole, they back in the day thought that this level of the hospital that women were delivering babies in was haunted because all the women were dying. Every time they deliver a baby, they would die, and women would be crying like, please, I don't want to deliver my baby on that level of the hospital. It's haunted. I'm going to die. And then they usually would. And the other levels were fine. The death rates were not even near to as close. So everyone was just like, oh, that's haunted. And that was how they rationalized it. But then come to further examination, those doctors were like the newer ones that were working with cadavers and then not washing their hands and then delivering babies with whatever was they were touching in the cadavers on the. And so then they now it's just, this is what I'm getting at. Now it is common knowledge. You wash your hands, germs is everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Do you think in the future, this is what I asked Cami, in the future, we're going to look back into this time and be like, wow, I cannot believe that this wasn't common knowledge back then and we were just running around surviving without this knowledge that we have now? And Cami was like, absolutely. And she thinks that it's psychology. There's certain things about our brain that we're just starting to understand now, but like 20, 40 years from now, we're going to have this substantial amount of knowledge on how our brains work and how we process trauma and why we are the way that we are. And we're going to think back on 2023 or whatever and be like, can you believe that we just were running around like little zombies, not knowing what the hell we were doing because we didn't understand this? Isn't that an interesting concept? And it doesn't even go just with psychology, with other things that we just can't even comprehend right now because we're in the right now. Like if you tried to explain germs to someone back in the day before germs existed, they'd be like, you're crazy, you know? It's so weird. Emma's like, you mean like COVID? You're not supposed to say the C word, Emma. Did you know there was a point where people would get like demonetized for saying COVID? I'm not 100% how true that is, but I watched all these videos at the time of COVID and they would be bleeping out that word because they didn't want to get demonetized. That's what they would say. And I'm like, why is that like a swear word? You're not allowed to say that? Definitely. Look how many times scientists have changed their minds about butter. Butter? What? Emma, you're funny. She's like, I had to say it. Brains, but science. You know what? Cami also took it a step further. She's like, once we have that knowledge, because I was like, this is so much energy to talk about because it was such a long conversation and it took so much brain power. But basically, she's like, once we have this knowledge of how the brain works, then our brain has to be evolved enough to be capable enough to understand it. But then that means it's more evolved, so then there's more that we're gonna have to understand. Does that make sense? It's like constant progression. It's very interesting. Yes, we say things are common knowledge that weren't 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago. Wow. That is interesting to think about. Even just 10 years ago, there was things that, and I am happy to see, well, at least I feel like the circle of people I know, you guys and the people that I talk to day to day, the social media accounts that I follow, they're very aware of how important understanding your mental state is, understanding your emotional health is. That being said, I still do meet people in my day-to-day that don't understand or comprehend why it is valuable to understand their emotional state and to understand, because, I mean, you can't force someone to understand it if they don't want to understand it, but I do feel like there is a vast, is that the right word? Vast group and majority of people that are understanding and realizing and wanting to grow, because they're realizing that if they don't acknowledge their emotional state, acknowledge this, they're going to stay the same. And a lot of people are okay with staying the same because they don't understand how much they could progress if they fully understand. They don't understand what they don't understand. I've had a little too much of this. Eskel, are you ready to go live? I need to get out. I need to go. OMG, when my mom passed, I had to clear out her house. There was an ashtray with her baby stuff, and I was like, WTF? Girl, they gave you a cigarette and ashtray in the 60s in the hospital? Wait. So she got to, like, they gave her a baggie of goodies with her baby, and one of those things was an ashtray? What the hell? They used to go back and forth on whether butter or margarine was healthier. What's the consensus? What's the overall? They're still going back and forth. Cammy for president. Yeah, let's start the campaign. Amanda gets super philosophical and super caffeinated, and then she becomes Nicolas. Is Nicolas Cage like that? Is he Kyle Grant? Is he my dad? Amanda needs to go to the gym now to work this off. Work out my frustrations. My mom called me a few hours ago. She fell down the stairs and dislocated her thumb. Her only worry was if she had to go alone. Oh, like go to the hospital alone? Dislocated her thumb. Her only worry was if she had to go alone. Owie. We only use a tiny bit of our brains, so there's lots of room for expansion. I agree with that, Casey. And I think, do you think it's because it's exhausting to use more and more and more of your brain, so we're like comfortable with just that teeny little piece of the frontal lobe? Did Emma respond to that? No? Okay. I'm waiting for your response. Everyone smoked back then. You know what's crazy, Warren? Jeff's, is it? Just kidding. Every time I meet a Warren, I'm like, are you related to them? But anyways, no. So everyone smoked back then. I have a comment on that. People in the order, they hide this, but it was pretty common back in the day for people to smoke and drink. So a lot of numbered men did. I mean, I don't know about the smoking so much, but drinking for sure. And they hid that because it's against the word of wisdom, right? Of Joseph Smith. Guarantee you, though, Joseph Smith did too. In that time, it was normal. It was common. There was also people didn't think that smoking was bad for you. Hi, Zappa Happy from the UK. Doctors used to smoke in doctor offices. That is wild. Yes, I will check my messages. Thank you, Lucky Burrito. Diana says, if you watch Call the Midwife, which is set in the 50s and the 60s, UK, and all the pregnant ladies are smoking. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Pregnant women probably smoke and drank a lot. Dranked? Is that a word? Smoked and dranked. Smoked and drinked. Pregnant women smoked and drinked back then. Is that proper English? Pregnant lady smoked and drinked. Drinked. I drinked it. I drinked it all. Yep, my ex-brother-in-law smoked in the hospital when she had her, she's just like in labor. Like, this is difficult. It was actually that long ago that doctors would prescribe cigarettes for anxiety and weight loss, among other things. We didn't always know how bad they were for you. My gosh. Oh, thank you for the donation, Mary. I'm doing filming this Tuesday. I will be... Okay, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Mary has a YouTube channel, and I believe I am subscribed. Let me make sure I am. Yes, I am subscribed. I think I need to click the bell though, because I think you've had some new videos and I haven't seen them. Oh, wait, no. I've seen all your videos. I am a real fan, okay? So yes, if you guys are interested, that makes me happy that you're coming out with a new video. I would love to see that. If you guys are interested, go follow, go subscribe. Doctors used to say cigarettes were safe. You know, you just can't. The order was right about that. You can't trust doctors. Just kidding. I will say I have a paranoia with doctors and hospitals to this day because of the order, and also because of I feel like the whole COVID thing and the vaccines, that freaked me out so much, how almost like forceful it felt, and how I got like PTSD and traumatized, and I didn't realize the extent of my distrust in doctors and vaccines and that stuff till that whole thing happened. I didn't realize how bad it was till that was happening, and it triggered a lot of things in me. But obviously, like, there's a healthy amount. There's an excessive unhealthy amount of someone who's paranoid of everything that's in their body, like one little thing they'll run to the ER. You know, there are people like that. There's a word for it, where every little thing they run to the ER because they're scared or they have paranoia constantly. And then there's the opposite side, like the order, where they're like, nope, we're not going to take him to the doctor. Yeah, his arm broke, but he's fine, you know. And mental illness isn't a thing. It doesn't exist. So there's a healthy balance that you have to find. And I don't know that I found it yet, but I'm working on it. My grandma started smoking when we're still talking about smoking. Drank. Pregnant women smoked and drank. Smoke and drank. Thank you, Pamela. My grandma started smoking when she was 15, but her whole family was like that. My aunt had a tracheotomy. You know what? Let's just close for prayer. Caroline said, my grandma started smoking when she was 15, but her whole family was like that. My aunt had a tracheotomy and would cover it to make sure the ashes from her cigs wouldn't get in her neck hole. What? My goodness. Neck hole? I remember seeing those commercials. You guys know those commercials when they have that and they talk and they're like, I wish I would have never smoked my first cigarette. That was enough to scare me to death. Amanda, thanks for being a good friend. Aw. Thank you, Kevin. When I was younger, I used to eat the butter that came in the packet at restaurants by itself. Amber, I'm going to ask you to leave now. I had a teacher who talked about how when he would wait for his toast to toast, he would just be eating the butter. Butter has like no flavor, really. Does it? I feel like butter is like eating oil. Cream cheese, though. I would eat cream cheese and cheese. Anything cheese. Amanda, do you want to have kids? With you? I've been asked that question a lot, and I feel like every time I'm asked it, it's a different answer because I'm growing and evolving and changing as a person. In the order, it was 10 kids. I wanted to have as many, well, before that, it was as many kids as I can have, right? Because that's the order mindset that they put into us young women is have as many babies, bring as many souls to the earth. That's all you're worth, so you better have as many as you can. So that was my mindset when I was like little girl. Then I got a little older, 15, 16. I wanted 10 kids because my mom had 10 kids. And I was like, that's a good number. I liked growing up with 9 siblings, 5 boys, 5 girls, loved that. Then I left the order and I was like working in daycare. And I was like, 10 kids? I don't know why I thought I could do that. And then I thought 6 kids, 3 boys, 3 girls. That could be a good number. 3 boys, 3 girls, I think I can handle that. The longer I did daycare and nannying, which I thank goodness I did do that in a normal setting out in the world, I realized, and this is just for my capacity, maybe other people are different, but for my capacity, when I had daycare and I had like 8 kids was the max that they would have in one room with one person, when it was 8 kids, I couldn't take care of 8 kids. It was not about having a good time with these kids and playing with them and helping them grow mentally. It was about survival, making sure that they're getting fed and changed. Because you have 8 kids, you're changing diapers all day. I guess it's different when there's different age groups, but what I came to learn, sorry, this is a long answer to your question. What I came to learn is 3 kids or less was the healthiest number for one person because I was able to connect with those kids more. We were able to have more bonding experiences, and I could even plan for like teaching them how to count, teaching them different words, teaching them colors. 8 kids, it was impossible. 3 kids or less, there were specifically 3 kids actually that would stay later. And I had a really good relationship with those kids because I was able to focus more, instead of having myself spread so thin. So for me, I feel like 3 kids would be the max for me if I ever did have kids. I used to be like, I have to have kids before I die. Like, I have to. I am okay with, I'm at the point in my life, sorry, this is, you asked, so I'm telling you, I'm at the point in my life where I'm okay if I never have a kid. I would like to, if I, like, let's say I couldn't have kids, I would like to adopt. I also am okay with being the auntie to Cammy, Rachel, or Eskel's kids. One of us is gonna have kids. It's kind of like we're like pointing the, you know, that Spider-Man meme where we're like pointing the finger at each other, like, who's, you do it, no you, no you. We all love kids. We grew up around them. We raised each other. Like we love that, but the responsibility, we're aware of how big the responsibility is, so we want to help each other, and we're just waiting for someone to finally have one. And we did decide, though, that if no one has one, we want to adopt. Like all of us, all 4 of us will be the parents. So yeah, to answer your question, that's the answer. Made with love equals made with butter. That, okay, yes, I agree with that. Hypochondriac, that's the word, right? For someone who goes to the doctors every second that something feels different on them. Yeah. Amanda, where did that go? Amanda. Please do, oh my gosh. Where did it go? Please do a video on funeral practices in the Kingston group, what happens from the moment someone dies, etc. I've had a few people ask me to do that. I feel like that is a good idea for a video. We would definitely have to put like different sections, because they did treat certain people who passed away differently than like if they felt like they were worthy or not, as far as like garments and things like that. So that would be a very interesting video, and that is a very good idea. Thank you for that idea, Lindsay. I do have some notes on a video like that. It just is, it's gonna be a depressing one, so when I'm in the right headspace, I'll definitely film a video like that. I didn't like how everyone made people feel shame for not being vaccinated. I agree. I didn't like it on both sides, okay? I didn't like when people who got vaccinated shamed people for not getting vaccinated, and then I didn't like who people who were anti-vaxxing were upset at the ones who got, you know what I mean? I'm just like, everybody be nice to each other. Fetal alcohol syndrome. That's when you're drinking and you have a baby in your belly, right? Hate doctors. Had Lyme's disease. It got to the point where my brain was shutting down before I went to the doctors and couldn't remember the word. Oh my goodness. Because you were afraid to go into the doctors, or you just like didn't want to? Wow. Do you guys know how to change my username? It looks sketchy since it's not my initials. I actually don't know how to do that. How do you do that? I think you click your name on the top right of your YouTube, and then you go down to settings. I'm pretty sure. I know someone in here's got to know that. Salted butter is a little salty. Unsalted is just plain fat. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I pray that everyone has a fantastic week and stays safe. Keep your head up and stay positive. Make sure to be kind to yourself and others. Amen. Aww. Jason, that's so sweet. My mom has smoked my whole entire life. She always said, if you don't try it, you won't miss it. I agree with that. You don't know what you're missing if you've never tried it. So you're not really missing it, are you? That was a debate. Okay, this is the last thing, and then I'll let you guys go. I'll stop talking your ears off. There was this debate that me and Cami were having again. We have a lot of debates. Cami was actually top of her class on the debate team. Did you guys know that? She's a really good debater. Should have been a lawyer. It's really hard to be sisters with someone like that if she's right and you're wrong. Anyway, we were debating. She had a friend in the order who was very happy in her polygamous marriage, was always talking really good about her husband, really happy to be in the order, happy to be a polygamous wife, happy, right? Only saw her husband like once a month, maybe twice a month, because he's married to so many women. And Cami, I was like, that's so sad. Like, she never is gonna know what it's like to be fully, you know, like she probably has self-esteem issues to think that she's only worth being, you know, 2 nights with a man and he gets to go, you know. But she was like, do you think on that concept of, I mean, she's never known what it's like to have more. So is she really missing out? If you haven't tried it, how can you know that what you have is not good? You know what I mean? Like on that concept, you never tried it, so you don't know what you're missing. I know you were talking about cigarettes, that's different. But that reminded me of this, like, if a polygamous woman never, and that's why I think they never want them to date, they only have this one option, then they think it really is the best. And are they happy? Are some of them happy? They believe that they are? I don't know. I was miserable. I wasn't even married. You can't deny, though, that it feels unfair. Even if you haven't had anything better, it's gotta feel unfair that your husband's running around sticking his pee-pee everywhere. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you for the donation, Caroline. A tracheotomy, was I good? Did I do good? Tracheotomy is a hole in the neck where the incision is made and a breathing tube is placed. Sorry, I get really woozy with this type of talk. And I'm not like making fun of it. It makes me lightheaded a little bit. I could never be a doctor. Breathing tube is placed into the trachea, also called the windpipe. Yeah. Oof. I'm gonna pass out. I don't know why I get so woozy when it comes to people talking about stuff like this. There was a time in junior high when I was watching this documentary. Okay, I am gonna pass out if I talk about this. Actually, I had to go to the nurse's office. That's how bad it was. And I didn't like run out of class. I like started to raise my hand, and then the teacher was like, go, 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 because apparently my face was so white. And I went to the nurse's office, and the nurse, I didn't even say anything to the nurse, and she was like, she showed me to the table to lay on, and I was like laying on it for 30 minutes. I don't know how I donated plasma when I was broke. When I first left the order, I tried to donate like twice a week because I was broke, and I would throw up and almost pass out every time. They're like, please stop coming here. I'm like, I'm poor. Amanda, you're an amazing person. Thanks for sharing your life. Thank you. And thank you guys for sharing your lives too. Like, I feel like you guys add so much, and I learned so much from you guys. It's a mutual thing. Did Eskel leave? He's supposed to be going live. He can't just leave. I have 1, I wanted 10, and now I think if I could have 1 more, I'll be satisfied. But I'm picky. I chose the wrong guy already. I don't want to do that again. Good guys only, or none at all. I agree so much, Ediana, sorry. Ediana. I know, Ediana. 1, and you wanted 10, and now you want 2. I really agree with the whole, like, the spouse has to be obviously a good person, or else the kid's gonna have trauma, which is why me, Cami, Rachel, and Eskel have all talked about, like, if we don't end up finding someone that's worth, because here's the thing, I on my YouTube video where I like the things that men say, blah, 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 like I was like, you'll see when you're in your 40s and you're lonely, wondering where all the good men are. I am okay if I am single forever and I don't find someone who's good enough to raise my kid with me, because it's my kid, it's our kid, whatever. If I don't find someone who's good enough, I'm not going to settle, because my kid deserves the best. My kid deserves healthy, happy, I don't want the trauma from my past to go on to this kid. I don't want all this work that I've been putting into my mental health and to be being someone who's not going to be projecting onto their kid and all this stuff. All of that work that I'm doing, I'm not going to get with someone who's not willing to do that and have a kid with them. You know what I mean? It's not unfair for me to say that. And I hate when men are like, oh, your standards are too high for you because you don't want to work on yourself. I'm not going to settle, because then that means my kid has to settle too. So I am okay if I don't find someone who meets those standards, because Cameron, Rachel, and Eskel, we will all raise the kid ourselves. Thank you. I think that the issue that I see in a lot of women, not a lot, mostly older women, is that mindset, well, at least he's not that bad. at least he doesn't do that. No, I won't be in a relationship where at least he's not cheating on me. At least, no. Why would I be in a relationship with that? Sorry, I'm on a tangent. But yes, I agree with you. Only, what did you say? I chose the wrong guy already. I don't want to do that again. Good guys only, or none at all. Or none at all. I agree with that 1,000,000,000%. I regretted having the first one done because how it made me feel. I never got COVID though, but I thought you were talking about your kid. I thought you were talking about having your first kid. I regretted having the first, like the shot, the vaccine. I can't get rid of, but then I've been about 3 weeks now. Yeah, I heard a lot of people were getting sick from a certain immunization. I'm with you, Amanda. I plan on adopting teens though, because I don't change diapers, just no. Yeah, I've changed enough diapers in my life. I think 2 kids is perfect, just my opinion. Honestly, yeah, 1 to 3 is, and that's saying for me and for one person, but I feel like if you had a spouse who's actively involved, or my siblings in this case, who's actively involved and helping, and the work is being divided, then it can be very happy and healthy. And I think based on how well that works, you know, I wish people thought about these things more rather than just having a buttload of kids for the kingdom of the Lord. The crazy thing is that they spin that on we are selfish for not having kids and they're selfless for having kids. But the reality is we know the trauma that they put onto us. They didn't think about all the crap that they were going to make us go through by pooping out all these kids. But they think that we're the selfish ones for not wanting to hurt the kids that aren't even born yet. We're thinking of the kids that aren't even born yet. But they weren't doing that. They weren't caring about the status of this kid's mental health. They weren't thinking of, am I going to be able to provide? No, they were thinking as many kids of the kingdom of the Lord as possible, right? And I'm selfish for not doing that, apparently, for not giving these kids a bunch of trauma. And I just remember my dad talking like that all the time, like selfish people everywhere that don't want to have kids. It's like, you're selfish because you don't even take care of the kids that you have. What's worse, someone who doesn't have kids, isn't giving the kids trauma, or you who has over 30 kids and half of them don't like you because you're not even in their lives? Talking to you, daddy. I just spit. Spit on you. Okay. Pooping out all these kids. Okay, Eskel is here. Are you ready to go live, Eskel? We were all over the place today, but there was a lot of good discussions. What did we learn? I won you. It's okay to say it. It is. That's what we learned. Amanda, that is right. I had 2 kids with a guy that was toxic. We were toxic for one another, but I found a perfect one for me and my kids. See? And that's how it should be. It should be they're perfect for me and we're happy. Not at least he doesn't punch me. You know, it's like, come on. Amanda, good girl. I'm 50 years old and glad to be by myself. After the mental and emotional abuse of my marriage, I'm much better off on my own. My heart is too precious and my poor kids. And this is the thing is, I think a lot of women back in the day thought that it was selfish to put themselves first. But the reality is absolutely not. Absolutely not. You got to take care of yourself first to be able to take care of your kids, to be able to have a healthy mindset. How are you supposed to juggle life, your mental, everything, if you're not focusing on making it better, you know? Are you ready to go live, Eskel? I'm talking to you. My husband and I aren't perfect, but we love each other. We work on things, speak honestly and openly, and we try. I am a firm believer in 2 people, because no one's perfect, just like how we were talking about how no church is perfect because no human being is perfect, and churches are made by human beings. 2 human beings together, they're not going to be perfect, but if they're willing to self-reflect and grow and listen to their partner and communicate, it can work. It can work. But like my divorce video, I talk about how communication, you can communicate all you want, but if they're not understanding, they're not capable of understanding your emotions and you as a person, it's not going to work, because that means you're communicating, but you're speaking Mandarin and he's speaking French. You know what I mean? Then you got to part ways. Or you can live in a relationship where there's no understanding. I've known people that have settled for someone else. They had self-esteem issues. Yeah, I think that that is a big thing where people who settle, they really think that there's no one better out there and they think it's better to settle than to be alone. But that's not healthy because then you're saying being alone is a bad thing? You're great. Why would being alone with yourself be bad? You're pretty awesome. So if someone else doesn't want to value that, don't let them be with you. Don't let them take your energy if they're not valuing that. Because you are going to value you. Has anyone listened to Miley Cyrus's new song? Go listen to it. I love it. I love her. I could see you guys doing great with foster care kids, honestly. I think you'd be able to relate in ways most can. I've thought about doing that. I've just heard so many scary stories about these kids in Utah and the foster care system in Utah that I really wanted to be like a foster parent. Maybe I should look into that actually. Instead of just adoption, there's also, you can foster and be that healthy home for these kids that are, you know, sadly having to go to the traumatic stuff. I'm gonna look into that actually. What are the credentials for that? What's the song called? So Miley Cyrus, Flowers. It is going to be a while before you catch me out here playing in the field. Yeah, I feel like if one of you or anyone in the world is like, oh, I have a hard time with love, like every relationship I've had has been toxic and I'm just not lucky in love, I am convinced that if you, instead of searching for a partner and searching and dating and trying to find the right one for you, for a period of time, date yourself. I know some people are like, date yourself, that sounds so dumb. No, it doesn't. You're giving yourself so much time to date other people. You're putting the energy into other people that you're not willing to put into yourself. So dating yourself sounds dumb because why? You're willing to date other people and give that energy to them and put the time into that relationship, but not the relationship with yourself. So my advice is if you are one of those people that's struggling with that, and I have been, not saying that I'm not understanding, I understand what you're feeling, date yourself. Take those steps and the energy and put it in here first. Get to know who this is, get to know what you want, get to know who you are, self-reflect, and then definitely don't, I feel like you wouldn't even have to search very far. I don't know, but I assume. But yeah, I feel like once you get to that point, I'm not saying I'm to that point, once you get to that point where you know yourself, you self-reflected, you know what you want, you know who you are, then when you are dating, it'll be so much easier to not waste your time. You're like, oh, red flag, I don't want that. Nope, that's not something that is aligned with my values. I think my problem in dating, especially when I first moved to Vegas with my dating life, I don't usually talk about this stuff because it's usually a Patreon conversation. But what I will say is my issue was I didn't know myself, so how could I know what kind of a person I wanted? You know, if you don't even know your own values, how can you know? How can you know what you want when you don't know when you want what you want? You know what I mean? So it's kind of pointless to be dating if you don't know the values and goals and morals that you want in a relationship. That's what I was trying to say. All right, Eskel, are you ready? It's crazy hard to adopt in the US. How come? Why is that? Okay, Eskel. Everybody go over to Eskel's channel. He's going to go live. And I'm going to put my Patreon link in the description box down below for anyone who wants to. We have a new segment coming out on my Patreon that I'm really excited about. Should I show the book we're going to be diving into? Maybe I'll do the first one this week and see how that goes, and then I'll announce it if it goes well. Oh, wow. We've been live for 2 hours? Dang. We've been hanging out for 2 hours. Has it been fun? Did you guys like it? What are your thoughts? Guess you're going live now, Eskel. Flicker face. Yeah, he is going live now. Get your camera. Okay. All right, if you guys want to continue this, go over to Eskel's channel. Bye, Noki. Bye, Kayla. What? I'm just reading Todd's comment. Some people think we are weird for being single, but it's okay to change partners like underwear. I've never heard that before, but it's a good analogy. Bye, Emma. Bye, Todd. These lives can never be too long. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad. This was fun. It's always like therapy. I always feel better afterwards. Bye, Emily. Have a good week. Bye, Jimmy. Bye, Kayla. Bye, Meredith. Bye, Kevin. Bye, Roseanne. Bye, Jay Snow. Bye, Pamela. Bye, Pink Parasol. Bye, Kayla. Bye, Lizzie. Bye, Caroline. Bye, Flickerfade. Bye, Todd. I said Todd twice. Bye, Mary. Bye, Ediana. Bye, Ediana. I always say Ediana. Ediana. Bye, Virginia. Bye, Heather. Bye, SJB72. Bye, Jenna. Bye, Mitt. Bye, Jenna, Mitt. Bye, Denise. Bye. I said Lizzie twice. Bye, Ruby. Bye, Caroline. I just like keep singing as I walk out of my room.